And welcome to a much belated new edition of Archive Riffs. Seriously, how long's it been since I've done one of these? Anyway, today's short revolves around this geeky guy who's just too self-conscious to do anything in front of a crowd or just in general publicly. What a dork. I mean, next thing you know, he'll be dependent on some sort of buffer between him and the whole world. Loser. Anyway, this is kind of a long one, so let's get down to business. From 1951, from our old frenemies over at Coronet, this is Self-Conscious Guy. Coronet, because we couldn't afford a full-sized crown. True to form, only guys can be self-conscious. Sexist. Judson T. Landis. Phantom to the D, bitch. Nothing says academic like the Teddy Bears Picnic song, does it?
It began the night of our January school play. Not my self-consciousness, but my story of overcoming it.
For better or worse.
We had a party on stage after the play. Oh, I wasn't in the cast. Not me. I was on the stage crew. But I'll tell you about that later.
Okay, now it's later. Anyway.
Somebody grabbed a spotlight and started a sort of game.
Spot Ops, the special kid of the theater crew.
Stopped on you, you'd have to get up and make a speech. Jack sure did all right, but why not? He was the star of the play. That sort of thing was easy for him.
Well, thanks for talking over his speech, Mr. Self-Conscious.
Of course, I wanted to do well, too. I wanted to shine.
Sparkle, more accurately.
What I was going to say. I'd wow him. And then it happened.
Something happened, and I felt so bad.
In the spotlight. And I felt uncomfortable. And awkward. And different.
Only took a minute and a half to reach the realized repression. I think that's a record for us.
At me? What was I doing wrong? Did I look funny?
Well, the Joan Crawford eyebrows don't help.
As I am to public speaking, I guess I'll just shut up and sit down. It was terrible. I knew it.
Hey, that was neat, Marty, but don't be so self-conscious about it.
Or just give it another 60 years. It'll become fashionable.
That was my trouble. That was why I felt so queer.
This movie is a Freudian slip factory.
I begin to remember other times I'd had the same feeling.
See?
I remembered giving a book report in class. It was exactly the same. Yes, as if there were a spotlight on me.
There is.
And everybody was watching me.
They are. You're living a nightmare, pal.
Oh, I managed to get through my report all right. But I was miserable.
So am I. You're making this awkward for everyone, you know.
And then I remembered the first time I asked June for a date. I knew just what I wanted to say, but when it came right down to it... Yeah, I felt spotlighted again.
You know, Marty, you're a nice guy and all, but that spotlight guy is really making things weird.
Was my face broken out again?
Nah, the spotlight's just dirty.
And I remembered coming to try out for this play. Boy, I really wanted a part. I felt sure I could get one, too, until...
Well, look at it this way. You could always go into voiceovers, like I did.
I'm not going to try out. I'd like to work on stage crew.
No, you don't. Trust me, it's like the damn Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave!
But it wasn't what I wanted.
Ah, stupid autofocus.
Yeah, the night of the party, Jack said it, and I knew he was right. Self-conscious. I felt I could never get up in front of the class, or ask a girl for a date, or do anything in public again.
Embrace it.
Yeah,
I did.
Self-conscious guy. I couldn't even stay out the party.
Well, that part shouldn't be hard at all. Just don't show up in the first place.
Oh, hi, Marty. Oh, hi, Jack. Okay. Say, what happened to you last night?
My whole world
I
collapsed.
didn't feel so good. Oh, too bad. Boy, wasn't that something when they had that spotlight on us? Gee, I was so scared my knees were knocking. I could hardly talk.
Unlike now.
You were self-conscious? Sure, I guess everybody is sometimes. Everybody? I guess that's right. Say, listen, I've got to get to class. Sure hope you're feeling better. All right, so long, so long.
Insert Wonder Years style music and narration here.
Everybody's self-conscious. After that, I began to notice other people.
Marty's a little slow in that regard.
He always seems relaxed and comfortable.
The drugs help.
But a couple of years back, I can remember what a self-conscious guy he was.
It's me again, Margaret.
He really has overcome it.
It helps he figured out how to get through to the sex and party lines for free.
Then there's Anne. She likes to play for people.
Whether you want to hear it or not. Thank you. I'd like to do an encore.
And how terribly self-conscious she was if anyone watched her play.
So the moral of this story is, come out of your shell so the whole world can find out what a dweeb you are. Man, I'm really giving my critics some serious ammo here.
She certainly has changed. Well, you can get over being self-conscious. The question is, how?
Spend more time on the internet. That helps.
It wasn't long after when I made a big discovery about how to overcome self-consciousness.
Watch lots of Will Smith movies.
Ping pong game. He hadn't been playing very long, but he was learning and doing right well. Then Hank and Bill came in and hung around watching. And suddenly it seemed as though Jack was feeling on the spot.
Don't mind the spot guy. We've got him for the whole week.
He started fumbling.
He's not self-conscious. He's got a freaking spotlight stuck in his face.
What made Jack suddenly feel self-conscious? Was it because he didn't play well?
Was it middle-age
I
ennui?
wasn't self-conscious about ping pong. Why the difference? And then, well, I had to talk to Jack.
And Bud, and Jim, and Jose.
Everybody wants to show up really well. You want people to think you're pretty good. But then you start thinking about yourself, how everybody's watching you, what you must look like to them.
Actually, I was just thinking I wanted a Dr. Pepper, but now... Well, thanks a lot!
I think you do. But look, if you can do something really well, then you're more confident. Self-consciousness doesn't bother you quite so much. If I could do more things well...
How about we start with doing one thing well?
You gonna try out for the class play in April?
I guess so.
Me too. Only this time I'm really gonna try out.
Swell.
Ow!
All right, Sue. Thank you, Marty Hanson,
Spot guy has supersonic hearing.
are you going to help us out on the stage crew again this time?
Yes, I'll take it. No, wait!
But this time I really want a part in the play.
This is for the lead in Cabaret, right?
Why don't you go ahead and read some lines for me?
When I am in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, when I am in really great trouble, as anyone who knows me, and
Really? I overcome my crippling ego hang-ups for this?
Then, but I knew that was the only way I'd ever be good enough. You know, I got a part.
Bribery really works.
Practiced a lot. I figured it was like the ping pong deal. If I could become skillful, I wouldn't be so scared of it.
It's a fine line between skill and hubris. Just saying.
And finally, I got so it wasn't too hard with my family.
Marty, just because it says Hanson on the mailbox, it doesn't automatically make them family.
And just think about doing it well. At rehearsal with the other kids, I could try another idea. Turning the spotlight onto someone else.
Marty and the spot guy have been hanging together for so long now they've developed ESP.
So important. And it worked part of the time. But when it came my turn to speak, then where could I turn the spotlight?
Okay, it's intermittent ESP, but still.
Let me remind you all of something. You know, as we go through these themes, you should try to keep the whole situation in mind. Because, you know, after all, what other people are thinking and doing is just as important as what you're doing. Will you take those lines again?
Keep the whole situation in mind. There was an idea. Would it work?
Let's find out.
at the present moment I'm eating muffins because I'm unhappy. Besides, I am particularly fond of muffins.
So there, nanny poo-poo head.
They were laughing. But now I knew they were laughing at the situation, not at me. Yes, it really helps to develop skills, so I can concentrate on what I'm doing instead of how I'm doing it.
Focus is for wimps.
It helps to think of other people. And remember that I'm not so important.
There, you don't have to read Voltaire now.
To turn that spotlight on the whole situation. then I can almost forget to be self-conscious.
Self-conscious, self-aware, it's a gray area.
Almost is right. I'm getting closer now, because I'm getting more and more practice in turning the spotlight onto the situation as a whole.
I have to sell my plasma to keep the spot op on my payroll, but it's all good.
When I feel self-conscious, I remember that the class isn't interested in me, but in what I have to say.
You ought to go into politics.
Well, there it is. I still feel a little self-conscious at times. But by concentrating on others, by doing my best to make the whole situation easier, I overcome my own self-consciousness.
All in all, I'm just another brick in the
It
wall.
helps me enjoy being with people. And I think it helps people enjoy being with me. It could help you, too, couldn't it?
Finally. Alright, given this character's name, I know I'm not going to get away without a Back to the Future reference, so give me a second here. Marty!